He's fought some good strikers, but do you think your power is like the X factor here that maybe he hasn't dealt with some of these other guys?
Yeah, I think I've got more precision.
I'm going to go in there. I'm going to outbox Jack. I'm not going to shoot one takedown. And I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm going to show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division.
The keys to victory for a guy like JDM.
He's just got to mix it up. When I say mix it up, I don't mean shooting him for takedowns. I mean, he's got to go forward and he's got to mix up his strikes. That's the one thing that I like about this guy. He's so relaxed. He sees the pressure come. He's able to sidestep or just kind of relax in there. In fights like the Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert was winning that fight. Gilbert was taking him down, controlling him, but he never stopped trying. When he got up to his feet, he was able to land certain things to try to make him pay.
If I had to put money on it, I'd probably favour JDM.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to put money on it. Yeah, if I had to put money on it, I feel like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. 50-50. I'm putting money on none of them.
I'm curious. Like, I'm so pumped JDM is getting that shot. I think, like, this fight is so winnable for him.
The welterweight division is about to witness a showdown that could reshape its future. At UFC 315, champion Belal Muhammad is set to defend his title against the rising star Jack Della Maddalena on the 10th of May. There are other big names in the welterweight division as well, but Belal believes Jack is a deserving contender. Belal Muhammad believes the UFC made the right call by booking him against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. He says taking on JDM fits perfectly with his mission as a champion to fight the best, with JDM riding the longest win streak in the division and coming off a major victory over Gilbert Burns. Belal felt it made sense. He pointed out that other contenders were on losing streaks and emphasized that he's always ready to fight anyone, anytime. In his view, they just fast-tracked a matchup that was inevitable.
Was there any talk of anyone else, or did you feel like they made the right call here?
I think they made the right call. When you're looking at the landscape of the division, he has the longest winning streak, and he came off a big win against Gilbert Burns. And when I'm looking at everybody else, like Usman's on a losing streak, Buckley had a good streak going, but I just think that JDM's probably a little bit ahead of him with the level of opponent that he just fought. But like I said, for me as a champion, you got to take on anybody. You want to fight anybody. I'm going to fight the best. So I figured he would be the next in line if he beat Leon. So we just shortcutted it and we got it first.
Belal Muhammad says he wants to be a champion who earns respect by fighting the toughest challengers, not the most popular names or biggest paydays. Reflecting on how past champions ignored his own long winning streak, Belal points out that fighters like Leon Edwards never gave him a shot. Now that he's in the spotlight, he's determined to give deserving contenders their opportunity, including Jack Della Maddalena. Even though JDM isn't a loud self-promoter, Belal says he respects his skill and sees him as the best available challenger, and that's exactly who he wants to face.
I want to be that champion that doesn't sit there and pick, oh, this is the biggest fight, let me get that one, or this guy has more followers than that guy. No, I want to all right, who's the guy with the biggest streak? Because I never got that chance, right? The champions before me, I had a long streak forever. Usman never looked my way. Leon never looked my way, and he tried to avoid me. But for me, for even a guy like Jack, he's not a big talker, right? So he wasn't going to sit there and beg for it or anything like that. So I'm giving him this opportunity because that's the type of champion I want to be that I am. I want to fight the best guys that they have in the division, and I think right now with everybody else, he's the best.
Jack Della Maddalena believes he can submit Belal Muhammad. While he acknowledges Belal's well-rounded skill set and grappling-heavy approach, JDM feels confident in his striking and believes his underrated grappling could surprise Belal. He even suggested that if Belal tries to smother him on the ground, he might catch him with a submission.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty well-rounded, but I think his big key to victory is like always trying to implement his wrestling, try and strike, and then if he has got the upper hand or if he believes he's got the upper hand in the grappling, he'll push for that. He's able to hold people down. But yeah, I definitely feel like I've got the better striking. I do think I've got some good grappling that he might be not prepared for. So I might try and be able to pull out like a submission at some point if he lays on me for too long.
Belal Muhammad is confident he'll deliver a striking masterclass against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. He boldly stated that he wouldn't attempt a single takedown during the fight. Instead, he plans to outbox Jack and showcase what he calls Canelo hands. Belal aims to prove he's the best boxer in the UFC's welterweight division.
I'm going to go in there, I'm going to outbox Jack, I'm not going to shoot one takedown, and I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm going to show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division. Trust me, you guys want to tune in, don't miss it.
Belal Muhammad explained that his approach to fighting is built around constant evolution and adaptability. Rather than forcing opponents to adjust to him, he focuses on improving after every fight by refining small details and bringing a better version of himself each time. He highlighted his well-rounded skill set, striking, grappling, and wrestling, which allows him to tailor his strategy based on each opponent. Unlike many fighters who rely on one specific style, Belal emphasized that he has the ability to dictate where the fight takes place, whether on the feet or on the ground.
I think a lot of these guys, they have to make the adjustment to me. When I go into fights, it's let me look at my last fight and fix little things. Let me evolve. Let me show a different version of myself. It's always trying to be a better version of myself. So I like watch all these guys. My coaches will break a strategy down of what they do well, and we'll be like, all right, well, we'll do that with this guy. We'll do this with this guy, because I can do everything, right? I can't strike, I can't grapple, I can't wrestle. And a lot of these guys, they can only fight one specific way. For me, I could, if I want to strike with you, I'll strike with you. If I want to grapple with you, I'll grapple with you. And I have the choice.
Belal Muhammad pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena is limited to one path to victory, that is striking. He believes Jack only knows how to box, whereas Belal can mix it up in all areas of MMA. Belal said his plan is to outstrike Jack and expose his lack of a backup strategy. He predicted that Jack's frustration will grow once he realizes he has no plan B, and that's when his inexperience will show. Belal emphasized that unlike Jack, he's been through 5-round wars and tough journeys, and once the fight gets deep, he expects Jack to mentally drown under the pressure.
With Jack, he can only do one thing. He can only box. He can only strike. That's his only path to victory. Me, I think I'm going to go in there and outstrike him, and then for him, he's not going to have a plan B, and then that's frustration is going to hurt him. That's where the inexperience is going to kick in, where he didn't have to go the long road I had to go through. He didn't have to go through 5-round fights. And then it's going to go to that point where he starts drowning and feeling like there's nothing else he could do.
Belal Muhammad admitted that Jack Della Maddalena's title shot is largely due to timing. He argued that none of the current contenders truly earned their shot when compared to his own path, which included beating 5 top 10 opponents just to be considered. Belal recalled even having to weigh in as a backup just to get his opportunity. He said many contenders today won't have to go through that because they now have a champion like him who's willing to fight anyone, unlike past champions who chose opponents based on popularity or social media clout. Belal said he looks for the toughest fights, and Jack's 17-fight win streak made him the right choice.
Do you think he specifically earned this shot, or do you think he benefited from timing?
I mean, it's definitely timing, right? Because none of these guys earned a shot if you're comparing them to me. I had to fight 5 top 10 guys to even get the shot or even get even looked at, and I still had to weigh in as a backup to even get the opportunity. But I don't think a lot of these guys are not going to have to deal with that because they have a champion now that's willing to fight anybody. I mean, they don't have a champion that's like, oh, wait, let me see how many followers you have. Let me see all right, do you have a TikTok or not a TikTok, right? Like, I think that's what the older champions used to do. They would look, all right, what's the biggest name? For me, I'm like, what's the toughest fight? He's on a 17-fight win streak. Let's go.
The lightweight fighter Beneil Dariush acknowledged the skill set of the welterweight champ Belal Muhammad. According to Dariush, Belal isn't getting the credit he deserves. He believes Belal holds a clear advantage in the grappling department and isn't far behind in striking either. Dariush thinks Belal can hold his own on the feet with Jack Della Maddalena and has the well-rounded tools to compete wherever the fight goes.
Bro, Belal is so good. Like, you have to, I think people need to start recognizing his skill set. I think he has an advantage, big advantage, I would say, in the grappling. And he's not really behind in the striking. Like, I don't see like anything wrong where he would struggle too much with the striking. His striking is just fine. I think he would be able to stand in his own with JDM as long as he needs to.
The last man to defeat Jack Della Maddalena, eternal middleweight champion Darcy Vendy, weighed in on the matchup with Belal Muhammad. Vendy sees it as a toss-up. If Jack ends up on his back, things could get tough, but if the fight stays standing, Belal may struggle to keep up. He believes the simpler, more achievable game plan is Jack stuffing takedowns rather than Belal securing them. In the end, Vendy is backing his fellow Aussie to get the job done.
Taylor, you are the last guy to get your arm raised against him, and he's got an upcoming championship bout in the UFC. How do you think that goes? What's your prediction?
I think it could honestly go one way or the other. I think if it ends up with Jack on his back, he's probably going to have a hard time. And I think if it stays standing, Belal's going to get what's given to him. But I think the easier to execute game plan is definitely Jack defending the takedowns. I think Belal has a tangibly harder time getting that job done than Jack ever will. I reckon Australia's going to have it.
I think so too, yes.
Kamaru Usman expressed confidence that Jack Della Maddalena was always destined to fight for the UFC welterweight title. When asked by Henry Cejudo whether Jack truly stood a chance against a well-rounded opponent, Usman responded without hesitation, yes, absolutely. He praised Jack's calm demeanor inside the octagon, noting that his composure makes him tough to break mentally. Usman also highlighted Jack's persistence, comparing it to fighters who keep rising no matter how many times they're taken down, something he finds especially frustrating as a wrestler. He sees that same unshakable determination in Jack.
Jack Della Maddalena is going to be fighting for the UFC welterweight title.
Do you really give JDM a shot against a guy that mixes his fighting?
I do. I absolutely do. He's so relaxed to where it's very, very hard to beat him, to discourage him from trying. There are some guys to where you can take down 50 million times, they're still going to keep trying to get up. And as wrestlers, we know how annoying that is.
Kamaru Usman believes Jack Della Maddalena's path to victory lies in staying aggressive and mixing up his striking. He emphasized that it's not about wrestling or takedowns, but about using variety while pushing forward. Usman praised Jack's composure under pressure, saying it allows him to stay sharp in difficult situations. As an example, he pointed to Jack's fight with Gilbert Burns, where despite being controlled and taken down, Jack kept getting back up, landing shots, and constantly trying to shift the momentum in his favor.
What are the keys to victory for a guy like JDM?
He's just got to mix it up. When I say mix it up, I don't mean shooting him for takedowns. I mean, he's got to go forward and he's got to mix up his strikes. That's the one thing that I like about this guy. He's so relaxed. He sees the pressure come. He's able to sidestep or just kind of relax in there. In fights like the Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert was winning that fight. Gilbert was taking him down, controlling him, but he never stopped trying. When he got up to his feet, he was able to land certain things to try to make him pay.
Sean Brady also shared his thoughts on the upcoming Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup. He's been rooting for Belal since their fight, as Belal's success only makes his loss look better. While acknowledging Jack's knockout power and toughness, Brady believes Belal always finds a way to win and predicts he'll come out on top in this fight. Brady also mentioned that if Belal loses, he'd be open to fighting him for the #1 contender spot in the future.
I've been rooting for Belal since he beat me, of course. The better he does, the better it makes my loss look to him, you know. He went out, he beat Leon, and now he's fighting Jack, which Jack's a super tough fight. I was getting ready for Jack for our fight before when I had to pull out, and I know how good Jack is, and Jack can knock anybody out in the world, but you can't bet against Belal. He finds ways to win, and I think he's going to win that one. And of course, I want him to be champion when we fight again, but if for some reason he does lose, I would fight him for a #1 contender. So yeah, there's options out there.
Ian Gary believes Belal Muhammad will win against Jack Della Maddalena in Canada. He thinks Jack will be overpowered by Belal, as the welterweight champ has all the tools to defeat him. While Gary isn't necessarily cheering for Belal, he feels Belal is the favorite in the fight. Gary has seen Jack get controlled by fighters who aren't as skilled as Belal, making this a perfect matchup for Belal. Ian Gary said, "I've said this, right? So I believe Belal is going to win in Canada against Jack Della Maddalena if they fight, and I believe Jack is just going to get swallowed. I think Belal has everything to beat him." Well, it's not that I'm going to cheer for Belal, I just think he's going to win. I think he has. I've seen Jack Della Maddalena get ragdolled by people that aren't as good at the game as Belal, so I think it's a perfect stylistic fight for Belal. Ian Gary is very confident that Belal Muhammad will defeat Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. He emphasized that as the fight progresses, the advantage shifts to Belal due to his relentless pace and grinding style. Gary called Belal a workhorse who thrives in gritty fights, constantly applying pressure and staying in his opponent's face. He mentioned seeing Jack get dominated by less skilled grapplers and believes Belal, being elite in that department, will wear him down. Gary expects Belal to secure a finish in the 3rd or 4th round if Jack makes it that far.
Could I get a quick 315 prediction, Belal versus JDM?
Every minute that goes by, it puts Belal in a better position because he just is a workhorse. He's a grinder. He will grab a hold of you. He will be in your grill. He will make it ugly. He will slam you. He will just constantly be there. And I've watched Jack get ragdolled by people that aren't as good as Belal. And Belal is one of the best in the world at playing the game Belal does. And I think stylistically he gets his hand raised, and I think he gets a finish in the later rounds. I think if Jack can survive till 3 or 4, I think that's when the finish will come.
Former UFC champion Jamahal Hill shared his thoughts on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight. He picked Belal to win, acknowledging Jack's toughness and strong boxing skills. However, Hill pointed out that Jack struggles with closing distance, which could be a weakness in the fight. He believes if Belal maintains a good distance, it will force Jack to work harder to reach him. This will play into Belal's strengths, allowing him to control the pace of the fight and mix in his grappling, putting Jack in a tough spot.
No question, I gotta go with Belal Muhammad. Jack is a beast, and he does present some problems as far as with the boxing and things like that go. But I believe his one of his deficiencies is covering distance. I mean, closing the distance and closing the range. So I believe if Belal keeps a good distance in between, it makes him actually have to work to get to him. It'll make it easier for him to get, to get off into what he likes to do, which is make people work and put them in that blender work piece and with punches and then the grappling.
UFC bantamweight fighter Corey Sandhagen shared his prediction for the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight, stating that he believes Belal will win. While he likes Jack, Sandhagen feels that Belal has the edge in this matchup.
Yeah, I forgot that one. Probably, I think Belal will win that one.
Okay.
I like JDM, but Belal, I think, will win that one.
UFC heavyweight fighter Curtis Blades also shared his perspective on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup. He leans towards Belal to get a win and defend his belt. He pointed out that Belal's experience, particularly in handling challenging situations like fighting on pay-per-view at 5 a.m., gives him a significant mental edge. According to Blades, this mental toughness could prove crucial for Belal to secure victory.
I'm gonna go with Belal. I think him having that experience, that weird fight night, pay-per-view experience, having a fight at 5 a.m., I don't think there's anything harder than that. So I think mentally he'll have the advantage and that'll be enough.
On the contrary, Daniel Rodriguez acknowledged Jack Della Maddalena's strong momentum, noting that he's been consistently handling business inside the octagon. However, he admitted he has a feeling Belal Muhammad might edge this one out, suggesting it could go Belal's way despite JDM's impressive run.
JDM's on a roll, man. He's been, doing his fucking job. And yeah, man, I don't know. I just think maybe Belal might take this one.
However, UFC lightweight fighter Gage Young praised Jack Della Maddalena's dynamic style and sharp boxing, especially his ability to work the body. But when it comes to facing Belal Muhammad, he feels things might go differently. He acknowledged Belal's predictable yet highly effective approach and, despite criticism of Belal's style, respects how well he executes it at the top level. In the end, Gage sees the fight going Belal's way, doubting JDM's ability to stop the takedown.
JDM's got a super dynamic style. I love his boxing. He mixes it up, goes to the body well. I think that'll be good for a guy like Belal, especially because everybody knows what Belal's plan is. You know what I'm saying? He does what he does really well, and I respect what he does. He gets a lot of hate for his style, and it is kind of a boring style, but he does it really well at the highest level. I see that fight going to Belal, to be honest. I don't think JDM's gonna be able to stop the shot.
Torres Finney shared his thoughts on the matchup, siding with Belal Muhammad. He believes many people underestimate Belal's skill set and consistency, while acknowledging JDM's dangerous boxing and knockout power as seen in his comeback against Gilbert Burns. Finney emphasized Belal's well-rounded game, particularly his wrestling and relentless pace. In his view, Muhammad is a better wrestler than both Gilbert and JDM, and he doesn't see JDM being able to stop the takedowns or get back up once grounded. He expects the fight to resemble Belal's bout with Leon Edwards.
That's a great fight. But I'm going Belal Muhammad. I think a lot of people sleep on Belal. He's really good overall. Yes, JDM has great boxing. Yes, he can put you out, as we saw, even when he was down 2-0 against Gilbert Burns, what he did. But Belal Muhammad, he's an all-around fighter. He's got the wrestling, his pace. I don't think he'll be able to stop those takedowns because, in my opinion, I think Belal Muhammad is a better wrestler than Gilbert Burns. I think Burns is a better overall grappler, but as a wrestler, he's a better wrestler than JDM. And don't see JDM really being able to get up. I can see this very similar to how I went with Leon Edwards.
So as UFC 315 approaches, the welterweight title clash between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena is shaping up to be one of the most compelling matchups of the year, with Belal aiming to prove himself as a true fighting champion and JDM looking to shock the world with his striking and grit. Both men carry not just momentum but purpose into the octagon. Whether it's Belal's well-rounded dominance or Jack's calculated pressure and toughness, fans are guaranteed a high-stakes battle that could redefine the landscape of the 170-pound division.